What's up guys, Matt here coming at you with a brand new 4M based build. This one, very excited about a few components in this, and overall very happy with how the looks turned out. So right away you notice this Injora body. This thing looks great. The detail on it is very nice. We've got mirrors and you can see the hood latches and door hinges and everything on it. It's got a nice little two-tone color to it with the roof and fender flares kind of being a different color. And then you've got the cage on the rear. It's very simple to assemble. Basically just bolt the cage to the body, throw your mirrors on, throw your lights in, and you're set. Now you can see I did a diamond plate sort of bed on it. It's not finished, it's not perfect. It's actually just laying in there. But I think it looks better than seeing the wires and that sort of thing, the ESC in the rear there. So once I get this in and a few scale accessories in there, I think this thing's really gonna look the part. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with how it turned out. I've got some Injora wheels that just kind of match. This body latches just like the stock 4M body. It catches very, very well. It comes with the bumper here that you need to use for that. So only downfall, I guess, is if you don't like this bumper, you gotta figure something else out. And then it's on a hinge. It works very well with this Injora chassis. And you can see this chassis has got tons of shock mounting options. It's a nice, beautiful looking carbon fiber. The only real complaint I have with this is we just don't have any extra upper link mount options. So I'm not sure this would be like what I would choose for maybe an LCG performance-based build, but it works great with this body and sort of a scale type build. And it's definitely an improvement over a stock chassis. Now you can see I've got the Meus 2 Speed Transmission in here. This thing is really a major problem solver for the 4M. So out of the box, the 4M gearing, it stinks. Like the slow crawl is not good. So you have to go with like crawler gears or something like that to get a little better slow crawl. Then you lose all of your wheel speed. So this hopefully is gonna solve that. We're gonna find out exactly how good it runs in a minute, but we do have a low and a high speed gear in here. So I made the stock 4M servo work for the shift servo, and it's pretty easy to install. A little tight in here. One thing, if you're building this with this transmission in here, there's a plate here and it comes locked into a certain gear. I don't remember if it was low, high, what, but so if you're gonna run the shift servo, I would just take that out so you get a little extra clearance, because I got this all together and like was putting the drive shaft on last, and it's very hard to get to. Basically, I forgot to order drive shafts, so it was the last thing that went on, and it was very hard to get to the screw there. But you can see this thing turned out to look pretty good. Now, here we have the new Injora Diamond Axles. Very excited about these because one of the things I hate about 4M axles is I'm always hung up on this right here. So I'm hoping it kind of helps with that. This is a little more rounded, has a better feel than this right here. And you can see where that's worn. I catch that quite a bit. So pretty excited to run these axles and just see how they do. It comes with the steering link and everything you need. And then up front, I've just got a Rampcrab servo. It's just something cheap I had sitting around, to be honest. I've got Hobby Plus shocks on here, the aluminum shocks for like the CR18P. And what else we got? We've got the Injora MB100 ESC in here. So this is a 2 to 3S brushed ESC with a 6-volt 3-amp BEC. Pretty smooth ESC, and pairing it with this Meus motor here, it seems to be pretty good. We'll have to check the wheel speed and that sort of thing. The turn, can we see it? 87 turn motor. So be interesting to see how this thing runs paired with this ESC, but it all went together pretty well. I've got Next Racing high clearance links on here. I just thought they fit this truck and looked really clean. Injora drive shafts and the Meus skid for the 2-speed transmission. Only thing, I kind of wish we could get that skid up some just so it wasn't hanging down so low, but with the 2-speed in there, you would really have to raise everything, and then you're going to be way up here with your servo and stuff, so I get it. I'm pretty excited to go run this. So I just Velcroed the battery to the side here because the sliders that came with this chassis and stuff just really didn't line up well with this body. So I kind of ditched those and just Velcroed the body in. And then I kind of got all these wires tied up best I could. We've got headlights and taillights with this body. Got a lot going on here. But overall, it's fairly clean in there. I still have room that I could fit a little shallow interior if I wanted to at some point. The Rampcrab servo seems to be doing pretty well. Look at this slow crawl. That feels pretty dang good. Very slow. Not much wheel speed at all, but that's what we got high gear for. So we're gonna have to see. It's definitely slower in reverse. I'm one of those, I usually like 100% forward, 100% reverse, but we'll see how it runs. So let's take this thing out on the course, get a little run time with it. I just wanted to show you guys real quick how I set up my shift on my 2-speed. You will need a separate transmitter and different ESC if you're gonna run this 2-speed setup. The stock Traxxas stuff doesn't have an extra channel. It's an all-in-one ESC receiver. It's just very limited. So I like to use something like this GT5. I put my 2-speed on this channel 4 right here. So this is low. Here we have a neutral once it shifts sometimes. And then here we have high. So low, high. So very nice just having it right there. It's easy to get to. One thing you do have to make sure you do is go to your EPA endpoint adjustment, channel 4, and you'll want to dial this back to maybe like 65, 70% maybe to start out, so you're not going to kill your servo. Then switch it down, do the same thing, dial this back. Okay, so I have mine where it's working right now, so I'm going to leave it alone. But just make sure you set your endpoints. Otherwise, you will kill your servo. If anybody needs to know what endpoints are and how to set them and all that stuff, maybe that's something we could cover in a more detailed video, but very simple to do on this transmitter. All right, so here we have an FCX with the stock 2S battery, completely stock truck on the left, in high gear, the 4M in high gear on 3S. I don't think on 2S the 4M will keep up at all, but we're gonna find out here how it does on 3S with this Injora ESC, because we can run 3S, so why not? Very close to the same speed in high gear. All right, let's see what low is, because I feel like we're pretty slow on the 4M in low. All right, now we've got them both in low. So definitely going to want a 3S in this 4M with this 2-speed, I think, and this motor. So after spending quite a bit of time with this thing, it just kept growing and growing on me. You know, it started out, I was like, man, this is definitely my favorite 4M to drive. And honestly, by the time I was done driving this thing, it kind of felt like it was going to be one of my favorites, period. And, you know, I've got a lot of different trucks, but I just love the look of this and the performance that I get out of it as well. I mean, it's really crazy how well this thing drives. You can see here, this is a pretty steep spot for a hard body truck. The body's not sitting all that low. Like I kind of wish I could get it a little lower, but I think it looks pretty good. And without adding any weight down low, I mean, these wheels have some brass inner rings on them. Here you'll see I go from low, I click it into high, and I'm able to just like take off. So that's another very good thing about this truck with this setup. And here I'm actually crawling in high, and you can see the high gear with this motor works very well. The hold on it watch this, like it actually holds pretty well on the hill. You know, the high gear in the FCX, that's one of the issues with it. If you're using it, you can kind of crawl with it, but if you let off of it at all, it's rolling. Right here, I roll up and I'm letting off of it just to see what it'll do. You'll see it give a little bit right there, but that slow roll, you can definitely control this thing and even crawling high. Now, if it gets in much of a bind while going uphill or something like that, the high gear is obviously not going to pull it out of it very well, but you can click it down into low and not really lose any ground. Whereas a lot of times, as soon as you go to click into low, you know, you're like rolling way back down the hill or something. So very, very nice setup. I love the gearing in here. You know, we could go with a lower turn motor and maybe get a little more wheel speed on in the low gear, because it is very kind of slow and low. I would definitely recommend running 3S. I don't think I would be happy at all if I was running 2S with this setup. But this ESC, the Injora ESC in here, paired with this motor and transmission and everything, it all just works very, very well. You know, I felt like in low gear, I had plenty speed to do most things that I wanted to do. And then I always have high that I can click into. Now, if we went with a lower turn motor, we're probably not going to get as good of a hold in high gear. So for me personally, I would just leave it right here where it's at. I love the balance of the way this thing runs. You'll see the first time here, I try to kind of ease down this in low, and it's just not really built for this. This is pretty steep, and there is a lot of weight up high. Like I said, I haven't added any weight down low or anything, so you can see it just kind of noses down that. So I reset it, and I click it into high. So another, you know, the really good thing right here, watch. I put it into high here in just a second. I don't lose any ground. I think like right here, I put it in high. Yeah. So I just clicked into high. You can see it held good enough, and then I'm able to kind of bump it and make it down that. So very, very pleased with the gearing, the motor. The ESC in here is great. This is one of the best brushed ESC setups with this combination right here. I mean, it's the best I've ran in the 4M, I think, in my opinion. I absolutely love the feel of this thing. So I've already been putting the tractor to use. You can see, got a couple more piles of dirt here. Gonna have to get a lot more rock to kind of start working on some more crawling there, but hopefully I'll have some few 10 scale lines on this maybe, and then kind of just continue this on around through here so I can just have more crawlings. Maybe start doing a little 10 scale testing out here, and then just add to the fun for the 24s. I want to leave room for a dirt track out through here somewhat like I used to have. So trying to figure out the layout I want to do with this. Just something to kind of play with, maybe run the dirt bikes on, but those dirt bikes, I'm gonna have some decently wide turns and stuff. So got to figure out how I can fit it all in here, but I got some pretty good space here that I'm willing to give up for just this. So definitely look forward to a bigger compound coming soon. This right here is one of the slower passes I've made up this climb. Very impressive for this truck. Honestly, I didn't think this truck would even go up this, but it actually pretty much slow crawled it. And these Black Label tires from LGRP are just really, really doing well for me. The foams that I have in here, the setup that I did, everything just seems to be working perfect. If you haven't seen my video on those tires, go check it out, because the setup I've got going on here it just seems perfect to me. I did want to mention with those tires, I do have a discount code with LGRP now. It's 2FM10. So if you want to save 10% on these tires, go to their site, use the discount code 2FM10. I didn't have that set up yet when I did the video on the tires themselves, so I did want to mention that in this video. But this thing is just performing well all the way around, and I absolutely love the look of it already. A few little details, maybe like I said, on the rear, and it's definitely going to be a favorite of mine to drive right now. You know, I'm always bouncing from truck to truck, but I love when I get done with something like this, and it just works out well. These Injora axles, I really like these. They seem to hang up much less than the stock axles. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I've heard people had issues with these, but nobody ever tells me what the issue was. So I don't really know if anybody's had issues with these diamond axles. Let me know, because I didn't have any issues. Ran them pretty good. You know, I haven't ran them a lot yet, so time will tell. But I love the turning radius of the 4M axles, and these are right there. They turn great and they look amazing. I love the look on this truck. So overall, I'm thrilled with the performance of this thing. Look at the flex I'm getting out of that tire right there. You can see the hold this ESC has, the slow crawl. It's great. Very, very good with this setup. It's very quiet. That's another thing I like about it. This truck is super quiet and everything just works so well. It's rare that I build a build and it just feels so good the first time out. And this thing just feels very, very good. I'm very pleased with how this one turned out. So here I was just kind of playing around with a little odd spot. Going to show how high gear can help you get over some stuff like this, you know, just really rough terrain or whatever. And I couldn't quite get over some of this in the low. The skid does sit kind of low. It's usual 4M skid, you know, but I can put it in high and basically jump the thing. Now here I'm in high gear, and I just wanted to show you the hold on this sort of steep incline. I'll kind of start up this and I'll just let off right here. And that's the hold in high gear. That's very good for high gear. You can see you're able to let off a little bit if you need to make a slight adjustment, and then hit it again and kind of line yourself up and go where you need to. And then once I decide I want to go up this, it's got plenty of wheel power to make it. Now all of this is on 3S. I do want to say I feel like it would be slightly under powered as far as wheel speed on 2S. So I would definitely recommend running this on 3S, but I'm thrilled with how this all came together. It's running very, very well, and I'm just excited to get some more time with this one. So you guys let me know what you think about it. I appreciate everybody watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share the video. The shares help like crazy. The likes and the shares really help out. So I appreciate you guys so much. I'll link everything in the description if you want to use those links. It does help out the channel in some cases. So I greatly appreciate it. Peace. Still in high.